Hi everyone, it's Sarah. I'm back with another video to kind of give you the rundown of what I plan on reading this month. And so we're going to talk about what is going down, what new releases, what I'm reading, what's on the list for July. So let's get into it, shall we? So I have, I'm going to take the page out of the Book Baron's playbook, and I'm going to try not to do a TBR as much as kind of talk about new releases and a reading list. So, what am I excited for that's coming out this month, and what am I currently reading? Now, the books I'm currently reading, hopefully, I'll finish them. But the new releases, I'm not. I'm not saying I'm gonna like finish them in July. I'm hopeful, but I don't know. I don't know. And here's why. I think I'm in a slump. I think I'm in a reading slump. And it's really unfortunate because I haven't been in a slump, I don't think, in the last 4 years. So I've had a pretty good run. Like slightly slumpy sometimes, but typically I could find a book that will kind of get me out of it and get me excited to read again. And I don't know. This first week of July has been a little hit and miss in the books that are kind of keeping my interest. So let's talk about the new releases and what I'm currently reading because I'm excited for the new releases, like I already said. Okay, so let's start with what is coming out first, like the first book on my list that's coming out in the kind of chronological order, and we'll get into it. So the first book on my reading list for in terms of new releases, the first new release we're going to talk about is "If You Want Me" by Helena Huntington. This is book 2 in the Toronto Terror series. This releases July 11th and is 462 pages long. So this follows Hollis and Penny. I believe her name is Penny. Now, we met both of these characters in If You Hate Me, which is book 1 in the series. And Penny is the coach's daughter, and Hollis is a player. And I believe on top of that, Penny is, I think she's around 19 or 20 years old. So like I said, this is part of the Toronto Terror book. So this is set in Canada. But yeah, like I said, we met these players already. So it's gonna be interesting. Hollis, I think, is kind of a lovable character. So it'll be interesting to see how this story plays out, in particular how the coach reacts and how he handles it. So the next book that's coming out in July that I am really looking forward to actually is Play Along by Liz Tomford. This also comes out July 11th. This book is supposed to be 384 pages long. Now, if you watched my review of Caught Up, which is the previous book in the series, which is the Windy City series, you'll know there was some chicanery, tomfoolery, hoodwinkery on Amazon's part when it came to the Kindle version of that book, meaning I thought I was getting a 518-page book. And then I got a 418-page book. And then I got a 383-page book. So I actually don't know if I got the full story in combat. But I'm gonna download Play Along to my Kindle right away. So I don't get any because I think when I read it on my phone, I get these weird updates. So I'm going to download it to Kindle. Not worry about it. Okay. Okay, good. So Play Along follows, like I said, it's 384 pages, and this follows Isaiah and Kennedy. So we met Isaiah and Kennedy in Caught Up. Isaiah is the brother of Kai Rhodes. So this is Isaiah Rhodes. And Kennedy is the only female athletic trainer for the baseball team that Isaiah is a shortstop for. Now, we know that Isaiah has crushed on Kennedy for a long time. Kennedy was engaged or in a relationship, wanting to get married. And at the end of Caught Up, Kennedy was no longer in a relationship. So we think this is Isaiah's shot. But in their story, Isaiah and Kennedy, they are in Vegas. I don't think it's like just them, it's like a group of people and they're all together. and they apparently have a drunken wedding in Las Vegas that Kennedy doesn't really remember. Now, she could go annul this marriage. Hey, had a drunken night. I don't know what it was about, whatever. But she is trying to maintain her reputation so she can get a different job because she doesn't like her current boss. So they agree to stay together throughout the baseball season, which, if you know baseball, you know that is a long season. It's a long season. So anyway, so they agree to stay together so she can maintain her reputation and so that Isaiah can have a chance to win her over. So I'm looking forward to this story. That's all I know. Okay, then the next book that releases in July that I am excited for is The Au Pair Affair by Tessa Bailey. This is book 2 in the Big Shots series. This releases July 16th. I don't have any page count information on this one, so sorry about it. But this follows Tallulah and Burgess. And we met these folks in the previous book, which is Fangirl Down, which I really liked. So I'm looking forward to this one. This is also a hockey book. And I did not include this in my total, in my year 2024 reading goals book. It's like 2024 reading goals video, excuse me. And I did not include this book as one of my hockey books in my 2024 reading goals video. So this is going to have to be like deducted because this was not an expected hockey book, but Burgess is a hockey player. Okay. Tallulah is an unemployed, I believe she's unemployed marine biologist. So she needs a job and Burgess needs a nanny. He has a tween daughter. Apparently Burgess is like super grumpy. So I don't think it's necessarily going to be grumpy sunshine, but like grumpy nanny employer relationship, hockey player, scientist. So the summary of the story, it leads me to believe that Burgess and Tallulah catch feelings and then something happens and she walks away. So I think there's a little bit of more of a third act breakup in this story than in Fangirl Down. So we'll see about it. But there's like, he's going to try to win her back. So we'll see about that. Okay, so then moving on to The Body in the Backyard. This is by Lucy Score, and this is a Riley Thorne novel. I believe this is number 4 in the Riley Thorne series. This releases July 16th, and I also do not have page count information for this. So this book, like I said, is book 4 in the series, and I have really enjoyed these series, or the books in these series, because it's like all the other like side characters are kind of madcap. It's like set in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Riley Thorne is an amateur psychic, and it'll go into like a pretty detailed description of her experience when she goes into her psychic episodes. And it's like, they can be pretty funny. So because she's an amateur psychic who is from a long line of psychics, she has gotten herself in situations where there is somebody is killed and she gets clues in her visions, right? Okay, so this book features a kind of a bigger role of her ex-husband, who is a local newscaster, which is like, he's like a pretty self-centered guy, and he's been kind of an ancillary character in the previous 3 books. So he gets more of a starring role in this installation. And there's a dead body that's found that is really made it clear that they're out to get Riley. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be like pretty madcap. One thing about these books is they're not super spicy. So whenever there is spice, so Riley's been dating this super hot private investigator. His name is Nick Santiago since the first book. And so their relationship is spicy, but it's not the focus of the story. So the story is really about the mystery and the like madcap relationships that they have with all these other people in this town. So, but it's good. Okay. I'm excited for that one. And then also coming out July 16th is The Best of All by Carla Sorensen. This is the second book in the Best Men series. This releases again July 16th. It is the page count is 327 pages. Again, we'll see. This follows Liam and Zoe, and they are brought together by the sudden passing of their respective friends. So Liam is best friends with a dad of a little girl named Mira and his wife, and Zoe is the wife's best friend. I don't know their names, so it doesn't say that or does it in the summary? It doesn't matter. Liam and Zoe are named the guardians for Mira, who's a toddler. So they're dealing with grief, and they are brought together to be parents to a toddler who she lost her parents, and Zoe and Liam have not enjoyed each other's company for 10 years. So that's another part of the story. And I think it's a kind of a forced proximity because I think they do end up living together. And I say that because we met both of these characters in the first book in the series, which I did enjoy. So he's a football player. She's described as a romantic optimist. Excuse me. It is like 10:40 at night. Sorry, I had a long day. So that one is good. I think this is going to be good. I have enjoyed this. I mean, there was one other book, but we'll see about this one. So I like Karla Sorensen writing. Hopefully this one isn't too much of an insta love. So, okay, then the next book that is releasing in July that I am excited for is Risk. This is the next book in the Next Level series. So this is book 5 in that series by Brianna Michaels. This releases July 18th and is 255 pages. So shorter, as all of the books in this series have been. Okay, so this follows Mason and Leah. So he is a very successful businessman who I think it's like super competitive in the industry that he's in. And she is his maid and is also a popular cam girl. So they start kind of a relationship, and the kind of blurb talks about them, really enjoying each other, and then like it being a little bit forbidden because he can't really risk it being found out that he's in this relationship with his maid. And it does kind of point to maybe a little bit of voyeurism being included in this book. So if you know anything about this series, each book kind of has it's kind of a specific kink, I'll call it. Nothing crazy, but each book is differentiated by kind of a different expression that way. So I'm expecting a short and spicy read. So then the next book that I'm stoked. I'm so excited for this book. And this is The Pucking Wrong Man by C.R. Jane. This releases July 19th. This is the 4th book in the Pucking Wrong series. This is 514 pages. Yeah. So where we get maybe a shorter, spicy read with Risk, we get a longer, probably kind of bonkers story, which I'm excited for. So this is Camden James's story. He goes by Hero. Whereas the hero in the previous book was Disney, Camden is Hero. And his his name is Anastasia, and she is a homeless ballerina. So she's homeless for whatever reason. We don't know. But turns out he's obsessed with her. As all of the heroes in this series are. They all are obsessed with their ladies. So she's homeless. He's obsessed with her. She needs a place to live because she's homeless, like I said. And he's like, oh, hey, move in with me. So what could go wrong? He's obsessed with her. If you know anything about, like if you've read any of the 3 other books, the heroes, they're called morally gray. Because they do morally gray stuff that if you, like in real life, if you found out about your boyfriend was doing, you would change your identity and leave town. You leave town and change your identity, like I said. But it's done so well. These books are bonkers and I love them. I just love them. So the hero says that, this is a darker romance and he's morally gray. And, she says that about all of the books in the series. I still love that. I love them. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay. So then finally, in the releases that we have in July that I'm putting on my reading list is A Thousand Broken Pieces by Tilly Cole. This book releases July 23rd. I don't have a page count for this. So this is the first new release by Tilly Cole in probably three years. This is the second book in the A Thousand Boy Kisses series. And this is a follow up to A Thousand Boy Kisses. So, okay, like I said, this is the first new release that Tilly Cole has had in probably 3 years. She was dealing with the loss of her father. I think he was ill, but it was unexpected that he would die as soon as he did. And then they also had some other like family situations change that kind of took her attention away from writing. So myself and other of her fans and her reading group have been like anxiously awaiting a new release. We've been waiting for releases in more of her dark side. If you know anything about Tilly Cole, you know she writes very, very dark books. Some of her books are like one of her books is banned, but she also writes new adult kind of light side books, but they always have an edge to them. So I do really enjoy even her new adult books because, like I said, there's an edge. So it's not like super vanilla and boring. So there's always something that's going to kind of hit you. So anyway, so this is the follow up to A Thousand Boy Kisses. So this follows Savannah, whose sister Poppy was featured in A Thousand Boy Kisses, and Kale, who is also a teenager dealing with grief and loss due to the death of a loved one. So they meet on a trip that is organized to help teenagers dealing with grief, and it's a kind of around the world, like longer term trip. I don't know if it's like service mission oriented, but it's specially designed for to help people coping with or barely not even coping with grief. So this is really interesting. Like if the thing that I'm excited about this book is that something that's really important to know about Tilly Cole's book, her books, like her writing, in my opinion, um, is the kind of idea that of and like she infuses in all of her books the healing power of love. Like all of her books, there's a healing element to the love the characters find. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I expect to cry because the author was on social media just with like tears coming down, like videos of herself as she's writing with like tears streaming down her face. So I expect to do the same. Okay, so let's get into the rest of what I plan to read this month. These are the books that I'm currently reading. Okay, so there's 4. Yes, some of these I've already finished. So we'll talk about those in the wrap up. Okay. So I'm currently reading So This Is War by Megan Quinn. This released June 25th. This year is 498 pages. Okay. This follows Wiley and Pacey. So we met Pacey in the previous book in the series. I don't remember the name of it. But if you've read the series, we've met Pacey. Okay. Wiley is the coach's daughter. Apparently, she's also Pacey's assistant. So there's this a workplace trope. I don't know why this is called This Is War. I haven't read it enough to know kind of what the like dynamic between the two of them is, but I'm not going to like regurgitate the blurb either. But it's Megan Quinn. It's hockey. Oh crap! I have to deduct this out of my hockey total too, guys. I'm not gonna be able to read any more hockey. It's like gonna be it. I'm down to like 5 books because I said or 5 hockey books because I said I would only read 12. Okay, all right. Okay, so that's what I'm reading, and then I'm reading Shattered Soul by Samantha Barrett, and this is my first book by this author. I've actually downloaded samples of 2 other books by this author, but this is the one that I've gotten the furthest in. So I have a feeling I will read this one. So this is book one in the Ray della Strada book, like series, excuse me. I don't know when this released, but it's 384 pages. This follows Lakeland and Knox. So this is set in Canada. This is a mafia forced marriage trope. And I think this is also going to have some amnesia. Hopefully that doesn't spoil it. But the setup is that Lakeland's father promised her to Giovanni Dario, and she's like trying to escape that like arranged marriage because 6 years previously, when she was 16, she had been um, promised to the former Don of the Ray de la Strada kind of outfit, and Knox is now the Don of that. So because she like got out of that arrangement, Knox is coming for her. And Lakeland's father promised her to this guy Giovanni, who is like the rival of Knox's outfit. So Lakeland's father is like starting a war with Knox by doing that. So Knox is reacting to that union for a couple of different reasons. And there are some things he's been kind of saying about Lakeland that makes me think there's some amnesia going on. Okay. So keep that in mind. So I'll let you know how that goes. Okay. And then I also have The Rumble and the Glory. This is book one in Sacred Centuries. This is by J.A. Huss. This book released June 27th and is 401 pages. This follows Lowen and Colin. Lowen is our heroine. This is a second chance contemporary romance set in West Virginia, and it has kind of a circusy vibe to it. But this is, I think, second chance because let's read the blurb. Okay, so 12 years ago, when he was just 18 and dreaming of a future with his high school sweetheart, Colin Creed learned something about himself, something so disturbing he left Disciple, which is the name of the town, to join the Marines and didn't once look back. But all of that came to a screeching halt with the congressional hearings forcing Colin to return home and rebuild his Black Ops empire brick by brick. Lowen McBride's heart broke when Colin shut her out and left town without an explanation, just as they were getting ready to start their adult lives together. The death of her mother the following year was a make or break moment, and Lowen rose to the occasion, giving up her university education to parent her younger sister while building an empire of her own as a specialty antiques dealer. Anger, desire, guilt, and shame. The return of the enigmatic Colin Creed ignites the town and sparks an explosion of emotions inside Lowen. But he's not the only one with a secret in his past. Okay, so this is J.A. Huss. I don't know. I read a bunch of her books. I would say I probably read 5 books. I read a trilogy of hers that was set in Las Vegas, and I listened to it as an Audible. It's really good. It was Ava Erickson. She was the female, and I can't remember the male narrator's book, but they were spectacular. And I think they really kind of made the book because as I was listening to it, I'm like, this author is like a little madcap. Like there's like, she's a very distinctive writing style. So we'll see how this goes. But this has gotten like 4.7 out of 5 stars on Amazon. Something like that. Over 4.5, like 4.5 stars on Goodreads, which is really unheard of. It's not a ton of ratings, but not like thousands, but I think maybe hundreds so far. But anyway, so we'll see, just because, like I said, this author, her writing style is a little, sometimes it can be stream of consciousness. So we just kind of have to, I'm going to see if I get through this. So, okay. And then I will talk about the other ones in my wrap up. Okay, here we go. That's it. That's what I'm reading for July. That's what I'm telling you about. If we get to the wrap up and there's more books, cool. Don't expect this wrap up until August sometime. My family and I are taking a cruise. We will not be back on land until the first week in August. We will not be set up in our new spot until mid-August. So I'm not posting nothing else until August. Actually, I'm going to do my June wrap up before we head out of town. And then we'll give you some more kind of details. But exciting news. which I'll give you guys in August. Okay. So that's it for my July reading list. Let me know what you think of the new kind of, I mean, it's not new. I'm just not calling it a TBR. It's what I've been doing for the last few months, but I'm also not promising to finish any of these. These are just new releases I'm excited for. I think you should check out because I'm checking them out. We'll see. All right. Thanks, everybody. As always, thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. Click like, hit subscribe, check back for more content. And if you want to leave a comment, like a recommendation or a question in the comments, please do.